Cairn is a 2026 indie exploration game that's survival climbing. Plan your route, manage your gear, and try not to become mountain trivia. No macOS version, which is exactly the kind of problem we like solving. For reference, I ran the game on an M3 Max MacBook Pro with 36 gigs of RAM. First, I'll cover the two methods I recommend most, then I'll hit the other valid options. But before you choose which one you want, you'll have to buy the game. To help you, we'll leave links in the description to where you can purchase it, and we'll also add links to discounts when such are available. Now here are the two methods that gave us best results. The first one is called Boosteroid, and it's the cheapest cloud gaming service that's actually any good. This is the most plug-and-play solution that we found. The main draw of Boosteroid and cloud gaming in general is that your machine doesn't matter as long as you can supply it with around 40 megabits of stable internet. And if you've got a faster connection, you can crank up everything to max even in 4K, and you should be more than fine. The one real caveat is latency. If your internet is jittery, timing jumps and grabs can feel off. But honestly, in my personal run with this game in Boosteroid, I rarely got any stream issues, even over Wi-Fi, even at 4K. So this method is best for anyone who wants the simplest setup, max visuals, and doesn't want their Mac to be the bottleneck. All you have to do to start gaming is follow the link in the description, register for the service, and buy a subscription. Then just search for the game and click play. It's all pretty easy, but we have a how-to tutorial if you need it, and an overview of the service if you want something more in-depth to make up your mind. Crossover is hands down the best non-cloud method to play Windows games on Mac in 2026. It will give you the ability to play anywhere you want without internet limitations, and scales better with newer Macs. But you're not going to get anywhere near the graphical fidelity or performance you'll have with cloud solutions. On my M3 Max MacBook Pro, I started at 1080p, medium to high, and got roughly 60 frames per second give or take. For a game played through a translation layer, these are pretty good results, but bear in mind that Cairn can be graphically demanding even if it doesn't look like it. Because there's translation overhead and the game isn't exactly lightweight, I'd consider 16GB Apple Silicon the floor, and Pro and Max chips the comfortable zone. The other main limitation I'd watch for is input weirdness. There are reports of mouse buttons not registering, plus the usual first-run shader hiccups. If you do run into issues, there are a couple of practical fixes that usually get things back on track. Also, with this method, you can use mods for single-player games, and there's a 14-day free trial. To use Crossover, click the link in the description, enter your email, and download the app. Then, after you install Crossover, you must click the Try Now option for the 14-day trial. If you need a longer tutorial, visit our video on that. Just note that the experience with Crossover can sometimes vary between updates, so don't be surprised if it suddenly starts to break the game. If this happens, check our site for the detailed instructions, or you'll have to research this on your own. Now here are the possible fixes for any input bugginess. Mouse clicks or buttons not registering can usually be fixed by switching to a controller. The game is controller recommended anyway. This usually makes input consistent, and then the climb feels predictable. Alternatively, you can try a different Crossover engine and recheck your in-game bindings. After you apply either workaround, fully quit and relaunch the game so the input stack resets cleanly. This takes 2 minutes and saves hours. Regardless of which method you pick for this game, here are some settings to tweak for the biggest performance improvements. This section is especially relevant if you decide to play the game through Crossover or another local method. For the biggest gains, set 3D resolution rendering to 90% and lighting quality to medium. Cairn can slow down when you look at the mountain in wide panoramic views, so these two changes help most in those moments. Keep rock quality high and set environment quality to medium for a good balance. The other methods are a variation of this theme. GeForce Now is the best cloud solution with all the bells and whistles, but at double the price of Boosteroid it's just not worth it, except for a handful of games which can use the latest and greatest effects. Like Boosteroid, it's very easy to use. You just need to register, get a subscription, download its app, and start the game from it. xCloud is Microsoft's cloud solution created for using with Game Pass. It's by far the worst of the cloud solutions, but it comes with the benefit of being free if you subscribe to Game Pass. Gear is the free DIY version of Crossover. It works great when it works, but it's more inconsistent, less intuitive, and has a lengthy setup. As for the setup, you first need to install Homebrew, then Gear itself, then Steam, and then the actual game. The process takes significantly more time compared to the other methods here, and so is beyond the scope of this video. For detailed guidance on how to set up Gear, just click the respective video in the description and it will show you exactly what to do. Boosteroid is the easiest win for Cairn. It's in the library, setup is dead simple, and you get big visuals without caring what Mac you own, as long as your internet is stable. It's also a nice match for a game where you want the climb to feel consistent, with minimal stutter. Crossover is for the I want it local crowd. It's rated as running great, and on stronger Apple Silicon it should be perfectly playable, but you may have to deal with the occasional input quirk, so having a controller around is smart. GeForce Now is the premium cloud option. Cairn is available there too, and it's usually the most polished cloud stack, but it costs more and you're still living on your connection, and sometimes your Steam library needs a resync. Sickaroo is the free DIY route. If you enjoy tinkering, it can get you a crossover-like result without paying, but expect more setup time and more randomness. So, pick Boosteroid for the simplest just play setup, crossover for offline play on a beefy Mac, GeForce Now if you're already in that ecosystem, and Sickaroo only if you've got the hardware and the free time to set everything up. So this brings us to the conclusion of today's video. Remember, for more detailed explanations of the methods to play this game on Mac, you can always check the video tutorials linked in the description. And if you are interested in exploring more popular gaming titles you can play on your Apple machine, you should check the videos that will now appear on your screen or simply browse through our channel. Also, in case you found this content helpful, we'd greatly appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to our channel. Take care and see you in the next one.